Okay, good evening, everybody. Good evening, and welcome to the call for tonight. And we are going to be covering a few questions from everybody, and then we're actually going to get into just a few different things. What I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to make sure that the live link is in the group here. And then we'll go ahead and get started. Of course, if you have any questions, feel free to write them in the chat box. Let's see. Boy, I think let's see. Is my chat enabled? Let me see. I better make sure it's enabled here. Wonder if I can still enable it once it's started. Maybe I can't. All right. Very good. Okay. So Jim, you can hear me. Then I'm going to just kind of get in there. Yep, I can read. I can read that, Jim. Yep, thank you. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to take. I have a few questions here, and I'm going to work from those questions, and I'm actually going to cover written PLR also. Okay. Um, uh, make sure that if you didn't pick it up yet, you can get our new PLR at the plrshow.com/new. That's our Google Analytics PLR. Depending on when you're watching this, you can still get that at launch pricing right now. Okay, so I want to start with talking about giving written PLR a makeover. And I know that a lot of us we have a lot of written PLR, and some of us buy written PLR. And I do want to talk about sort of how you want to process it. So how do you use it, right? What can you do with it? How can you monetize it? And I think that there is a path to monetize. It does take a little bit of work, but again, if you really want to leverage the work of someone else, right, when it comes to PLR, these are the things that you actually can do. So let's talk about this. And I want to start by saying this: that the most important thing is going to be the research, right? The most important thing is going to be the research. And if you're going to actually go out and get PLR of any kind, you want to start by getting good, solid research, because and I'll kind of get into that here. If you have let's say bad grammar, right? Or the words aren't quite what they should be, you can get a decent editor and they can take care of that for you, right? A decent editor can take care of your grammar and your words and fix it. Right now, the other thing is that an editor, either if it's you or if you get somebody else to do it, they cannot make up for shallow content. Right, that's the one thing that an editor cannot do. And I know sometimes, we have heard you can just get PLR, you can have it rewritten for you. The thing that a person cannot do is they cannot they can't make up for bad research. And so what happens is you end up paying for, and you end up working through two steps when you could eliminate that by getting good research. So you have to, if you're going to buy written PLR, you have to be certain you can rely on the person doing the research, right? And I say you have to rely on the person doing the research because you can't get every single PLR article up front ahead of time before you buy it and then make sure it's all going to be okay. You have to really kind of be certain of the person doing the research. And editor also cannot make up for irrelevant content. And I know you're not supposed to talk about negative stuff, and I don't want to talk about negative stuff, but I do want to talk about this. Again, this is something that I've been through. They cannot make up for content that doesn't necessarily meet a market need. You can probably find somebody who can write on anything. Right? What you cannot get is people who know how to write about the stuff that's relevant. And so when you actually go out and buy, and sometimes if you have to pay a little more to get somebody who can write some stuff on stuff that's relevant and that it's good research, you have to do that. Either that, or really you got to take the time to do it yourself. And again, I understand that that's not necessarily the vibe. It's not necessarily what we look for in PLR, but you really do have to do that if you are going to leverage it. And again, I mean, and I think I said this in my comments prior to this. You have to trust the person doing the research, right? You have to trust that person. And here's the other thing about written PLR, and this is not something that you don't necessarily hear. When I say relevant, I'm not even talking about it has to be cutting edge. It doesn't have to talk about all the latest and the greatest. The best PLR writing is going to be sort of the timeless foundational principles of a particular niche or subject. Right. And again, I want to say that again because it's important. If you're going to go out and get written PLR, it doesn't always have to be the absolute latest this week sort of thing. What it does have to do is it has to really kind of touch on the person doing the writing has to get the foundation right. They have to get the principles right. And if you can find somebody who can do that, buy their written PLR. And again, it's not something that is very common, right? And it is, and even if you're going to do the writing yourself, right? Now I'm talking about how you leverage PLR content, but I'm saying even if you have to do the research, you have to go and get the foundational principles of a particular subject. One of the things we talk about in Strategic Marketing Playbook, a lot of you all have that course. And one of the reasons why Strategic Marketing Playbook is so relevant, even though the principles have been taught since 1980, is because they're foundational, right? And that course will be relevant. That video course will be relevant 20 years from today, right? Because you will still need a unique selling proposition. You will still need to be building a list. You will still need to be looking to do upsells and cross sells. You will still need to be looking for strategic alliances, right? Those things are foundational. And you want to get the same thing when you actually go out and you buy PLR. You're trying to get the same kind of thing. You're trying to get the foundational principles, even if it's not cutting edge. Now, if you get that, please put the number 1 in the question box or the chat box. Again, foundational and timeless, right? Foundational and timeless is more important, right? More important than cutting edge. Now, I'm going to assume now that you heard me on that, right? And that you're not going to go out and you're not going to get you don't have to get what's trendy. You have to get foundation. I'm going to assume you heard me. And the first thing you're going to do, right? The first thing you're going to do is you're going to take that article and you're going to outline it. You're going to outline it for a video, either product or content, right? Now, if you've ever been to my channel, there are some examples there. If you put in strategic marketing, you'll see some videos there that really illustrate what I'm talking about because they actually come from articles. Because first thing you've got to do is you've got to outline the content for the video. And basically what that's going to mean is that you've got to almost break that article down to almost a sentence outline. If an article has 5 paragraphs, you're probably going to be taking the first sentence out of each and every one of those paragraphs, and that's all you're going to have, right? And actually, if you have a properly written PLR article, you ought to be able to do that instantly, right? You ought to be able to do that easily. So in other words, you ought to be able to take the first sentence in just about every paragraph. You ought to be able to strip it out of there to create a video. Now, again, because you're not going to be able to take an entire article and then create a video because your video is going to be too long, it's going to bore people. But if you take the first sentence, right, out of an article in every paragraph, that should give you a coherent video in order for you to put together. Once you do that, right, then what you're going to do is decide on how you're going to voice over the video, right? Decide how you're going to voice over the video. What do I mean by that? If you are going to do it yourself, the fastest way that you're going to do that with the least amount of errors is to do it on a live webinar, right? The fastest way to do it with the least amount of errors is going to be to do it with a live webinar. Here's why I say that. Because most of us, and you've heard me say this before, you're better on a webinar than you think you are, number 1. Number 2, you're more likely to put the level of mental preparation necessary to make it coherent because you don't want to look bad, right? Most of us, if we know we're going to get on a live webinar, we will do more than enough so we don't look bad. And so most of us will put the mental preparation in that is necessary to really put a coherent presentation together. And I suggest that you do it live. even if you do what looks to be a live presentation, is going to be 3 or 4 minutes. It doesn't have to be a video, but do it live, because again, it's going to be more dynamic. Number two, and you're gonna do your best to make sense of it. And actually, in some cases, in front of a live audience, you're gonna feel whether or not you're making sense. You can actually get energy from people, honestly, through a computer screen. Right? You can actually get energy from people on the other side of the computer screen if you are giving a dynamic presentation. What else? Now, if you'd like to read the content, please, now hear me on this. Now, I know not everybody wants to present live. Not everybody wants to talk live, and not everybody can be an extemporaneous speaker. I understand that. Right. And you don't have to be an extemporaneous speaker. I was just talking to my daughter the other day, and again, I never knew that I could speak extemporaneously until I got to college, and I was forced to do it. Right. And then ever since then, I've been doing it ever since then. Right. And I didn't even know I liked to do it, but not everybody likes to do it. My wife, she is not an extemporaneous speaker. She has to have notes. She likes to have notes. She likes to be prepared. She likes to have everything out front. Now, again, if you're going to do that, if you're going to have notes, you're going to have a PowerPoint presentation, please do not read the PowerPoint. Right? You have to narrate it. What do I mean by narrating? In other words, you're going to talk through each point, and you're going to speak on each point, and you're going to narrate. You are not going to read. If you read, it will sound like you are reading, and it will lose the audience. And then at that point, all the effort that you went to get the good PLR and to outline it and to put it into video, it'll be lost. You want to make sure you're narrating the content. If you have to ad lib, right, you have to comment in between there, or even if you have to write some additional commentary between the points, right, do that. But please do not read the content when you put it on the slide. It can't sound like you're reading, right? It cannot. Otherwise, you will lose the effect of an engaging video. Now, here's the thing about video also these days. The most important part of the video when you're talking about giving information is going to be the audio, right? Now, again, and here's how I'm going to look at it. Now, everybody doesn't look at it the same way. I honestly think that if you have engaging audio, right, you can actually get by with you can get by with okay video if the audio is engaging. Right. So focus on making good audio, because again, some people are going to be watching your video on YouTube, and like I do, they're going to put that, they're going to turn on their mobile device. They might be at the gym, and they're going to listen to you anyway. And so you want to make sure that you don't have to be dependent on them seeing something. Now, if they do watch your video, and I'm going to tell you why this is going to work here in a minute, you want to be ready for that. You want to put this on YouTube. I'm going to tell you why. Now, if you're comfortable with either of these two options, if you're uncomfortable narrating, if you're uncomfortable webinaring, right, check into having your outline voiced over on Fiverr or on the Warrior Forum. You should not have anybody voicing over an entire article, right? That's not the point of this. You don't want anybody, because again, they can probably read your article professionally, but you're going to add cost into this. And you don't want to add cost into it. If you're going to have your outline voiced over, you could probably get that done at Fiverr. Right? If you're going to have your outline, again, that's how you take the cost out of this. Now, I guarantee you, if you go and you try to have 12 articles voiced over, you're going to be into a few dollars before you've even made any back. If you have your outline voiced over, you can probably get by with 50 or 60 bucks. Right? You could probably have 12 done for 50 bucks. So again, you need to make sure that you have your outline voiced over and not your article. Is everybody clear on that? Right? If that makes sense to you, please put the number 2 in the live chat box. Right? So again, your outline, not your article. Now we're turning this written PLR into something that's going to be usable, right? We're giving it a makeover. Okay, so let's see. I did that again. Let me fly through here. Okay, so let's say now that you heard me on that, and that you now have a quality audio and outline, right? That's where we are right now. So we got a quality audio and an outline. So now what? How do you make this over? Well, we're going to turn it into video. We're going to turn it to video. So how are we going to do that? We're going to create an animated video. Right now, again, 30 seconds to a minute of animated video is probably going to take you a little while to create, but you're going to have a high quality video. Right now, again, now if you try to do the entire article, I promise you, you will frustrate yourself trying to finish it. Right? It takes a long time to put together a good animated video, even if you use really cool software. Now you can use something like VideoFX, right? Some of you all have that. Sparkle, that's what I use. Or some of you all have Explain.io, whatever you use, right? You can create a good animated video if you only got a minute, right? So again, don't try to voice over a 3 or 4 minute animated video. It will take you forever. The other thing you can do with that audio, right, is you can just turn that into a slideshow, right? So how do you do that? Well, one of the ways you can turn that into a slideshow is, right, you just match up some really engaging slides. Now, again, I suggest that you don't do what I'm doing right here, right? Now, again, this is kind of like if you're gonna actually put this on YouTube, right? You're not gonna be doing this live. I'm gonna suggest you go out and you get something that's a little more elaborate than what I'm showing you. Right. So again, I'm doing this on a kind of a plain background. You all are marketers. I'm a marketer. I don't have to sell to you. So again, that's kind of why I'm doing this. Why I'm telling you to do something I'm not doing right here. Get some engaging slides. Again, the work is going to be the same. It's not going to take you any more work to put the slides together and match them up with the audio on an engaging PowerPoint than it is on a plain and white background PowerPoint. Right, so put together something engaging. Now, there are all kinds of guides on what makes an engaging PowerPoint. Maybe we'll do that at some point. How many of you all went to the Rebrandable Content Summit? If you went to the Rebrandable Content Summit, or you have it, right? You own it. Put the number 3 in the question box, because Rebrandable Content Summit, Ellen Finkelstein, right? Listen to her lecture. Right. Actually, she did a great presentation in there, and she talked about what you need to put into your presentation. Right. It was awesome. All right. Now what you're going to do next, right? Once you get this really cool video, whether it's an animated video or it is a slideshow, you're going to push this to YouTube. Right. Now, again, I can go on and on about this, but again, and then go ahead and optimize it. I'm going to tell you. And I have been talking about this even prior to this weekend. How many of y'all heard this weekend about the announcement from Mark Zuckerberg? But if you've been on my webinars, if you have been on any of my webinars, or you're in the Ultimate Insider, you know I've been talking about this. That even if this day was going to come, that they can change anything at any time, and relying on that algorithm. Right? Relying on that algorithm is problematic, right? So again, I'm going to suggest to you that trying to build an audience around anything other than paid advertising on Facebook is not going to necessarily net you and give you back the time. So Jim basically, he's saying less engagement from business pages, right? And that comes on the heels of saying basically, they're eliminating promotional posts. They're doing everything they can to get people to connect on a personal level about personal stuff. That's what they want, right? Unless you're paying, right? They want you to pay to be in front of people, and so again, there are these two levels, right? There was the one comment that just happened. There's the other comment that I guess it was maybe a week or two ago, where they said, well, look, we don't want a lot of junk in the news feed. And so we have been talking about this probably for a solid year. I've been saying this, that you don't want to be dependent on that algorithm, because again, they can change it at any time. Now, again, I'm not saying that they won't change it at YouTube, right? But again, at this point, at this time, YouTube is still going to be is still built around your creating content, right? Facebook is built around your being on their site, interacting and letting them sell you stuff. Two fundamentally different things, right? Fundamentally different. Right now, So when I talk about optimize your content, again, I'm saying you might not be a video person, but you can become one, right? And what I'm going to tell you about video, this is not my presentation, is this: you will resonate with people that I cannot resonate with, right? You will resonate with people that I cannot resonate with. And so there will always be people you and I could put together the exact same content, and somebody could come and watch my video and listen to me talk, and they say, you know, I can't, this guy, I can't take it. Then they listen to you and they say, man, that was awesome. And the reason is because everybody's going to resonate with somebody different, right? So again, please do not think that you have to be you have to be the life of the party to put together a video. You are going to resonate with certain people that I cannot resonate with. So again, optimize your videos, optimize the title, optimize your descriptions, optimize the tags, optimize the thumbnail, right? And again, I don't have time to go over all that here, but again, all these are things that I've taught. They're on my YouTube channel. You can optimize all those things, and then optimize a playlist, then syndicate and share it, right? Syndicate it and share it. Okay, yeah, yeah. Right, yeah. Jim's saying not everybody resonates with Tony Robbins or Oprah, as great as they may be. That's exactly right. Exactly right. Right now, put your PowerPoint outline then on slideshare.net, then syndicate that. So in other words, syndicate, put your video on YouTube, optimize it, syndicate it. Put your PowerPoint outline on SlideShare, syndicate it, and share it, and do anything else you want to do with it. Right. So again, if you can be consistent about this, creating content and syndicating it. Right now, again, I cannot promise you when somebody's going to start watching your videos. Right. But if you will be consistent about this, what will eventually happen is there is a tipping point. Somebody will come and start watching one of your videos. And they say, wow, this guy's awesome. And then they'll sit down there, start watching like all of your stuff, and they'll subscribe. And then they'll start watching all of your stuff. You don't have to be Johnny Carson. Now, again, I know I'm dating myself, right? You don't have to be that person. I think Jim said Oprah or Tony Robbins. You don't have to be that person. You have to be you. And somebody's going to kind of get it from you, right? So again, put your stuff on YouTube, right? That is the new article directory. Now, I wish I could say that everybody liked to read, but you and I both know people don't, right? I mean, they just don't. And I'm not saying don't blog, but I am saying that that this is the new age, and people want to hear it in video, right? So again, get your content into some videos and be consistent, even if you are a blogger, right? Even if you are a blogger. And again, I know that's a little more work, and you're going to be doing double duty, but you got to get some video, you got to get some content into video. And I suggest you put it on YouTube, and yes, start sharing your video on YouTube and Facebook and all those places. And I know Facebook isn't going to show it to everybody, but again, the point to me, in my opinion, now this is my opinion here, and this isn't something that you can kind of put in the bank, but it is, your content on YouTube is going to be seen eventually, if you're consistent, right? Consistent. Okay, so let's talk about monetization, right? Monetization. You're going to monetize that content on your associated website. So in other words, I see, I didn't finish this. Okay, so let's see, I didn't finish this. Let me kind of crank this through here. So let me kind of talk about this for a second, monetization. I didn't have a chance to finish my outline. Okay, so when you're going to monetize this content, you're going to monetize it with the link inside of your YouTube video. What are you going to put in that link? You're going to either put an offer, right? Now, none of you all have PLR offers, right there, where you have actually put your PLR offer up for sale. Now, again, I have said this on other webinars. I'm going to continue to say it. When you buy a PLR offer, it's got a sales page. Put that thing up. Right? Put a buy button on and put it up. I don't care if you don't have a place to sell it yet, right? Put it up. Most of you already have hosting. You probably have some extra space in your hosting. Put that thing up, right? Put it up. Put a buy button on it. You can't make any money with it until there's a buy button on it. Now, you might say, I don't have any traffic. I don't know how to get traffic. that all that could be true, but you can't. But even if you got traffic tomorrow, right, and your offer's not up and running, guess what? Nobody's going to hit that buy button. So if you get a PLR article starting from the day, right, you have to promise, or pinky swear something with me that you get a PLR offer. You must promise me that you will put it up on your hosting and put a buy button on it. Even if you don't know where the traffic is going to come from, put a buy button on there and put it on your domain, right? This year, 2018, you must promise that you will do it. Right now, I can't obviously see if you're promising, but promise to yourself, put it up. That's the first thing. So you can always send people to a PLR article, to a PLR offer. The other thing you can do is you can send people to an affiliate offer. Now, when you do it on the associated website, I suggest that you put it on a landing page where you explain and you pre-sell the offer, right? So don't just send people to an affiliate offer, right? Send them to a landing page where you explain, and you can do it in writing or you can do it by video. Pre-sell the offer, right? You have to warm people up. So don't just send them to a sales page. They're going to think about this. They're going to click off your video. We gave them some valuable information. Then they're going to go to a page, and you don't need to send them straight from your video to a sales page. You send them from your video to a landing page. And what you're going to do on the landing page is you're going to get them hot. You're going to get them hyped up. You're going to get them warmed up to go see the sales page. That is your job on your landing page. Now, again, I can go through formulas and all that other stuff, but if you understand it that way, here's how you want to think about it. Let's say I came to your landing page and you wanted me to go see Justice League, right? I don't know. Maybe you'd never go see that movie. I haven't seen it yet, but let's say you wanted me to go see it. What would you tell me without telling me everything that's going to be in it? You would try to get me hyped up. You would just be telling me how awesome it is without trying to tell me everything. You'd be trying to get me hyped up. You try to be thinking about the things that are going to make me want to go see it just by your saying it. That's what you want to do on a landing page. That's what you do when you pre-sell stuff. You get people hyped up to go to that page, and when they get there, they're ready to see it. Right now, so again, send them to an affiliate offer. Now, the other thing, so you can send them to a PLR offer of your own. You can send them to an affiliate offer. Now, the other thing that you can do, right? The other thing you can do is obviously you can opt them in, right? You can opt them in, get them on a list, right? Now, because you may not know what to sell them yet, right? You may not know what to sell them, and you may need to find out what they're interested in to get them on the list, right? Get them to opt in. Right. So Jim is saying, yeah, I would tell you how great the movie was, how exciting it was to watch the movie. Exactly. Right. And what's gonna get me charged up, right? You got to get me charged up while I'm on the page to go and see the movie. All right. So again, monetize that written PLR with affiliate, monetize it with an existing PLR offer, monetize it by getting them on your list, right? One of those three things. And that is how you use written PLR. Right? Okay. Any questions about that? Any questions about that? All right. Any questions? I'm gonna go through a question that I got from one of our community members, and here's what the question is. A certain person is getting continued signals that they may be laid off at the job where they're a paralegal, right? So they're getting some signals, and so this person has some really good knowledge on vertigo, right? I bolded that. That's my emphasis, not theirs. And Meniere's disease, right? I don't even know if I'm saying that right, but Meniere, I think you would say, right? I'm guessing, because this person has worked for a lot of years to try to get rid of it. Right. So now, okay. So, and so the person says, I've told them that he has so much knowledge that others need. But they're wondering, so how do you start with this? Right. So you start with keyword research to find out if there's a real market. He's got some powerful ways to stop spinning using herbs. Right. So, vertigo, as you know, is kind of like, and I had vertigo a little bit. So I know what they're talking about. So he's got some ways to use herbs to stop the room from spinning, and foods to stay away from and to build up fluid in your ear, right? So it's got something to do with your hydrostatic equilibrium, and there's some exercises you can do, right? And but in general, the problem doesn't necessarily go away until you fix the problem, right? And so again, so this person kind of knows about all of that stuff, right? So here's the question. So how do you take that and how do you turn that into a niche, right? So how do you get involved in the niche? Well, one of the things that you have to do, right, in a specialized niche like this, the first thing you have to do is you've got to see what is existing in an information product. Now, again, I'm all for Kindle ebooks at this point. A Kindle ebook is an indication that there is information that people will buy. It's not the best. It's about the best indication. The first thing is we have to go and try to find an information product to find out if it's selling. The best place to do that is going to be ClickBank. So we want to find out if ClickBank has anything on any of these subjects. Basically, if we don't find anything on ClickBank that we can promote, we want to find out if there is somebody who is talking about that. Are they talking about it on a podcast? Are they talking about it on a video channel? Are they talking about it on a blog? Now, again, of the three of those, I'm going to tell you again, I personally would like it to see it on a video channel where that's one of the subjects that they're talking about. And if somebody is talking about it on a video channel, that means that you can talk about it too. And the reason that is because, again, the same thing that I said up front is that people are going to resonate with different people. And just as you and I have 3 or 4 different books on the same subject, you and I will watch 2 or 3 different YouTube channels on the same subject, right? And we might try to get a second opinion. So my first inclination, again, got to recap this, is to look at ClickBank. Because again, it's not a make money online product. We're talking about a niche. So we have to look at ClickBank. Secondly, we want to try to find out if they're not buying on ClickBank, we want to sort of find out if there is a podcast or a video channel, right? Thirdly, then we start looking at blogs and Kindle. And then probably fifth, and eventually, we're going to do some keyword research, right? Now, again, I say that in that order because keyword research typically means that you're probably going to end up doing some kind of SEO, right? And SEO is probably, I'm going to say it's probably the most competitive and probably the most difficult thing to sort through, especially even if you are super experienced. Right? People are really guessing at SEO these days. And it is a hard way to start a niche where if you start with an organic creation of content, and that is what a podcast is, that is what a YouTube channel is. It is an organic creation of content that you're not necessarily doing it based on keywords. You're doing it based on an audience. And what happens is that you sort of naturally fall into some keywords and you begin to get known and search because of your content and not because you game the system. So again, that's why I say, and a podcast is pretty much going to be the same thing, right? So if you can start with ClickBank, right? Start with ClickBank, YouTube, podcast, then blog, then keyword research, fifth, right? So I would go and start, again, I'm sorry, boy, I'm losing my voice. Start doing my research based there. And honestly, I'm going to be looking to build an audience and build a list. Because again, this is not a short-term thing, but the sooner you get started at this, the better. And again, building an audience is not a fast thing. But building an audience is a necessary thing, and it's as necessary as building a list. A list with an audience, right, is monetizable. A list, right, without an audience is probably monetizable, but only in the short term, right? Because again, people are going to eventually they're going to unsubscribe, they're going to get tired, they're not going to open your emails, they're not going to do all that stuff all the time. But if you have an audience that tunes in because they want to hear you, right? Because they're into what you're saying week after week. That, right, coupled with your list is monetizable and is monetizable in the long run. What you then have to do is you have to keep people interested by knowing what it is that you need to talk about. And again, all of that really comes in building up that audience. So, but understand this. Most podcasters and video creators, from at least from what I've seen, right? And I could be wrong about this. Most podcasters, they don't know the stuff that you and I know as internet marketers. That tends to be the case. What you and I know as information product creators, right? They tend not to know. I'm in a number of podcast groups on Facebook, right? I don't know how it happened. I think at some point I joined them all. I'm not sure why I did, but I did. And to a person, they're all dependent on how many people are going to download in order to monetize their podcast. When really and truly, out of the chute, you and I have to have something monetizable, right? And that might mean an affiliate link. That might mean an information product that you create. That might mean an interview product. But again, we're not going to start a podcast and we're not going to wait to have something to monetize. We're going to have something ready when people walk through the doors of that podcast, right? We're going to be able to say on the very first episode, hey, we've got a guide available to you, a free guide on, or it's our super duper double looper guide on whatever the case is that you can get right here for $7, whatever the case is, right? We are going to walk in the doors with something monetizable. And that's something most people don't understand, but you and I understand because we're information marketers. We use PLR. We understand that. Most podcasters, right? So here's why I'm telling you this. If you get in a podcast group, what happens is you start to become your social group. And so everybody there is going to be talking about, oh, I don't know, I'm waiting for these downloads. It's really hard. And if you get into that, right, you'll start to struggle because they're struggling. But you and I are not going to struggle the way they struggle because we already know we have to walk in the door with an information product of some kind, even if it's somebody else's to start with. We're not going to start a podcast without a link to send somebody to. We're not going to start a video channel without a link to send somebody to, even if nobody buys it to start with. We're going to have a PLR offer. We're going to have an offer we created. We're going to have an affiliate offer. We're going to have something on the page. That's you and I. But most people, right? When you start talking to podcasters, you're not going to have that. So don't buy into the fact that these things don't make any money, because that's not you. You are already ahead of most of the naturalized world in whatever information pursuit you get involved in. You're already ahead of the game because you know how to create an information product, or at least if you don't know how to, you know to create one. So don't get started with anything. And now, please don't not start your podcast because you don't have an information product, right? So don't say, well, I'm not going to start until I create my information product. Don't do that, right? Start the podcast, start the video channel, start something. But be already on the road to getting your information product up and running. Okay, so Sue says, yeah, okay. I just say it's fifth, right? Because again, see with a podcast, unfortunately, keyword research is not always going to find the niche for you. I can tell you that. And so sometimes you will need to start building an audience, even though there's not keyword research, right? And it just in some cases, if you know there's interest, right? If you know there's interest, then you might not find the searches. And yeah, Sue, I'm the thing is that you can actually turn away from a viable niche because you don't see the keyword searches, and they're not always going to show something that's viable. Now, there are lots of other signs available to you, right? One of the things you want to start checking to see if anybody else talking about this, right? Are they talking about it someplace? Get out there and see if there's a video channel or there's a podcast or there's Kindle or there's something where they're talking about it, because and get a sense for their audience, right? Get a sense for their following, because if there are people who are already listening, right? You can probably get a sense that people will want to listen about something else, right? Now, again, with the audience model, I mean, once you really have a show and on whatever else you're doing, I mean, you can always just get the person who already have the audience, right? You can always do that too, right? Okay. Any other questions about that? Is that helpful to anybody? Any other questions about that? All right. Okay, so if you're not on our getting our daily newsletter, you can get it at the plrshow.com. plrshow.com. Go there, make sure that you are signed up, and we talk about PLR every single day. So make sure that you are on our daily newsletter. If you'd like to join us on Thursday night, where we talk about PLR, basically, I'm in the habit of creating a live product and a PLR product for you on a monthly basis. That's theultimateinsider.com. Actually, you know what? I don't even know if that's open, so that might be closed. So if you get there and you can't get into it, and you still do want to, you can send me an email, and I'll see if I can open it up. But again, on Thursday nights, what we do is we get it together. We talk about one subject a month, right? We do have a Facebook group, the PLR show at the PLR show. I'm going to be phasing out of that group. I'm not going to be doing as much with the Facebook group. And I had already decided this before the announcement, right? I'm just not going to engage much there. I'm just not going to build up Facebook. Right now, that might not be the best. It might not be the thing that everybody's doing. It's just something I've just decided. Right? Okay. Was it subscribe to our training channel? youtube.com/game mindshare. youtube.com/game mindshare. All of our PLR training is there. And if you haven't gotten our new video course, it's on Google Analytics as of the doing of this video. You can pick that up at the plrshow.com/new. That's our Google Analytics video PLR. And there's a PLR a product that is expiring. Launch price is expiring at midnight. Superfastactionbonus.com/Sajan S. That is expiring at midnight tonight. The launch pricing, I think it's going to go up to $37.95. We've got some additional resources there. And coming up on this Thursday, we got Trello. Trello's coming up on Thursday, so be on the lookout for that. We look forward to bringing that to you. And that'll be Thursday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, depending on when you're watching this video. All right. Any other questions? Well, okay, everybody. Well, thank you very much for being here. I appreciate you all. Have a great night and a pleasant tomorrow. Take care. No, Jim. No, Google Analytics is still going. The one that's expiring tonight is I think it's a marketing strategy PLR, and that's Sajan's PLR. So Trello is a productivity app, really cool productivity app. All right. Okay, everybody. Well, thank you very much for being here. Have a great night and a pleasant tomorrow. Take care.